Hey guys, this is Shane. Welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today we're going to talk about shipping strategies when you're selling magazines. How to make your shipping as economical as possible, and more importantly, how not to really get hosed on your shipping cost when you're selling magazines. So I appreciate the view. Look forward to your comments and what other things you found that work for you, and sharing those with the book selling community. And as always, subscribe. We'll keep doing this and see what happens. So with that, let's jump right in. So selling magazines can be fun. You can find them a lot of times cheap. I have one place I go, I get them 3 for $1. If you can get them magazines in that 10 cents to 25 cents to maybe 50-cent range, you can really make some good profit on them. And they're interesting. You get really bizarre magazines, hard to find magazines, crazy topics, old magazines, vintage stuff. It can be fun and it can be rewarding from a profit point of view. But one thing you have to remember is that when you're shipping magazines, selling and shipping magazines, magazines do not qualify for media mail. And for booksellers, that's a big thing we have to get used to, because magazines can be really heavy. And in fact, if the weights of the magazines, if you get above, for it's kind of confusing, but for a first class package, not an envelope, but for a first class package, you can get up to like 15.99 ounces and go first class. Above that, you're going to go into the priority mail rates. And depending on what zone, if you're shipping across the country and you get like a zone 4, zone 5, that can be $13, $14 to ship on a priority mail. So let's talk about strategies on how to make that shipping as economical as possible, how to figure out what the best shipping is so that you can maximize your profit, and like I said, more importantly, that you don't get surprised at the end, okay? And then after some general discussion, I'm gonna weigh some magazines and show you kind of how weights come in so that you can kind of calibrate your expectations on what when you're thinking about this. So all right. So first and foremost, the first thing I would suggest when you're selling magazines is, before you list them, this is for eBay sellers, or I guess other selling platforms would be the same, but before you list them, you need to think about your shipping and need to kind of get a kind of your worst case shipping scenario so that you can price it right. You need to do that upfront thought. Don't just put the magazine out there and say $4 or $4.95, because you could sell a magazine for $10 and you could have $4 shipping and in your listing and end up with a $10 or $11 shipping bill, and you make zero on it. So thing number one is to look at your shipping cost up front and figure out your shipping strategy up front in a worst case scenario. And what I mean by that is, if you're looking at priority rates, you need to pick something that's like in that zone 4, zone 5 across the country, because priority mail gets priced in zone pricing. So the further away you ship, if I ship to California, it's more expensive than if I ship to, say, Tennessee. So all right, think about your worst case pricing and figure out kind of what that pricing will be. All right, after that, thinking again of how you're going to ship it. Now for me, I don't ship in envelopes with cardboard inserts on magazines, which is funny, because when you get magazines, like if you get them new, a lot of times they're in plastic or a paper binder and they'll throw them in the mail and people don't worry about it. But as a reseller, if I just threw a magazine in just a mailer, and then something happened to it, a buyer would be like, this is not the right condition, it's creased, whatever. So I feel like as a seller, to protect my interest, I have to give some more protection than like an envelope, and even an envelope with a stiff back in it gives. I don't go that way personally. I'm either going to ship in a flat mailer like this, that's kind of like the folding mailers, or I'm going to ship in a box like this, or if I go priority mail, I'll use the post office's boxing. Okay, any of these box solutions I'll show later are going to be in that 5 to 6 ounce range. So you're going to have to add that to your book weight, or I'm sorry, magazine weight. So used to selling books, so you have to keep that in the thing. So if you can ship for that 15.99 ounces or less, you're going to go first class. So say I put it in this, I can go as a first class package. That's going to top out at around $550. You know, this is the end of September 2021. First class package topping out at the weight is going to be like $5.5. So if you're charging $4.95 to $5.95 shipping, that's about the best you can get on a magazine. But you have to keep that weight under a pound. As you go into priority mails, so that'd be the first strategy, is if it's just a single magazine, if you can keep your total package weight under a pound, then go first class. That's going to be you can't go media because it's a magazine, it's got advertisements, that's why it's precluded from it. But if you're under a pound, first class is going to be your option. That's going to be around the $5 range, you know, $4.50 to $5.50. So if you're $5 on shipping, you're going to be covered. Now, once it gets above a pound, then you have to start looking at other options. You can go straight priority, but I have found for the Postal Service, your strategy number 2, and I've talked about this on another video on priority mail, but look at these regional rate boxes. Up to 20 pounds, these things, they fit magazines perfectly. You can put the packing material around them, and depending on where you're sending it, a regular priority might be like 50 cents cheaper, but if you start to get longer zones or anything into that 2 or 3 pound, these regional rate A's, and the post offices don't usually have these, but you can order them online and the post office will deliver them to you. Regional rate A is a great strategy. It sometimes can save you, $4 or $5 off the regular priority shipping, which you have to be in again because you're over that 15.99 ounces. It's if you're shipping postal service, it's going to have to go this way. Okay. eBay sellers, for me, like when I check out, I see discounts up sometimes 19 to 25% discount on the shipping, which really helps, but still it can be quite expensive. You're talking about even your best case scenarios for priority and the flat rate, it's going to be in that $8 to $9 range. So that $7.95 for shipping is probably where you're going to be for anything that's over a pound. So that strategy 1, if you're one magazine, you stay first class and you're going to be in that $5 range. If you get over a pound, look at your priority rates, but also check out regional rate A. It has to ship in one of the regional rate A boxes. The shirt box is great for magazines, and I find that it often, especially as the weight creeps up, regional rate A will save you big bucks. All right. The third strategy, which I just did and had a great experience with it, is to look at Pirate Ship. All right. It's a company, it's free to set up an account, and it was seamless, it was easy to use, it was intuitive. And I was able to ship some magazines with Pirate Ship. It links to my eBay account and feeds all the tracking information. And what they do is they'll offer you all the regular stuff. You can even do media mail with Pirate Ship if you want to, but there's no cost benefit. But where the Pirate Ship really came in is they can do cubic pricing. So the weight up to 20 pounds doesn't matter. It's completely the volume of the box. Okay. So you put in your length, width, height, and they have these cubic levels, this level like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that the pricing goes. I had a set of magazines. It was 3 magazines, and so they were very thin. I actually mailed them was able to put them in a flat mailer like this with tissue around them. The cubic pricing over straight priority or regional rate, I was going to be $11 or $11 and something to ship it on regular priority, even with eBay discount. Without the eBay discount, it would have been a lot more. Pirate Ship, I was able to ship that for like $9 and something. It was a 20% savings on the shipping, and it's still a priority mail. You print out the label. Again, it links to the eBay and set your tracking up. Had a great experience. Now, so my process now is what I do is I will get a weight estimate. I'll figure out what box I'm going to put it in, and I look at what it would cost me to ship on eBay and on Pirate Ship. I compare those, And both of those are going to be better than just the straight USPS.com, because in eBay I get a shipping discount, and Pirate Ship, that's what they're all about, right? So that would be the third strategy, is to really look at something like Pirate Ship. There may be others, but I tell you, I'm sold on it. I had other books that it was really the same, or maybe even a few cents higher than what my eBay discount was giving me on shipping. But I was shocked on this particular one with this cubic pricing. So it's really going to depend on what you do, or the size of what you're shipping. It also says if you're going to go the cubic route, one of those box reducers, I think that's exactly what they're called, but it's kind of like it has a measuring stick and like a little perforating wheel that you can measure down, and you can score the box and then fold the lids in and change your height. So instead of having, something that's 3 inches, say you've only got it partially filled, you could cut this, reduce the box down, because that changes your cubic volume of your box, and it can get you into a lower tier pricing and save you money. So if you start to do cubic priority on Pirate Ship, you probably want to invest in a box reducer. You can do it with just a knife, but a box reducer can make it easier, right? So that's another strategy. So ship first class if it's under £1, go that route. If you're going priority, look at your priority regional rates, and then check out your other services like Pirate Ship and for cubic pricing. So I'm going to cut away and show you kind of what some of the weights turn out to be, so you can kind of see what, kind of your expectations for what shipping, the weight will be, and then we'll close it out. So. Okay guys, so just to get your mind kind of accustomed to what to expect on shipping for magazines, let's look at just weight of some typical magazine lots, like what you might sell. And actually first, let's look at what your box options are going to be. Let's say that you just did, here's a 12x9x3 box, depending on which, if you didn't have a priority, that's about 6 ounces. Okay, there's no packing material in here. That's just the box. This is actually a 32 ECT edge crush test weight box, a little bit heavier than the 23s, but you're about 6 ounces. Let's look at the Priority Mail Regional Rate box. Okay, so that's going to round up to 5 ounces. And then let's look at if you had a mailer, this is like just a 12.5 by 12.5. I get these out through the eBay store. It's a little bit big. Let's kind of move it here where you can see it. And okay, 5.1, so 5.2, so that's going to round up to 6 as well. Now you could have different sizes to maybe trim that off, but what that tells us is that a box, if you go to a box mailer, that's going to add, let's say, 5 to 6 ounces on everything. Okay, so for a fairly thin magazine, this is one I've got in my store, an old, I think this is like for old Mazda rotary rocket magazine. You can tell it's pretty thin. Let's see what it's going to weigh. So see, that's a 6 ounce, that's going to round up to 6 ounces. So, I can mail that in any of these boxes, and I'm only going to be like that's 12 ounces plus some packing material. That I can mail a magazine of that size and keep it in the first class realm for a package, maybe even under 13 ounces, but definitely with the way eBay calculates things, like that 15.9 ounce. So this magazine would ship first class. So that's going to be probably a $4 to $5 type shipping. Now think about a National Geographic. Here's the classic 1985 Haunted Eyes cover, but it's always a good seller. So see, that's going to round up to 12 ounces already. So any box with packing material tissue, it's 12 ounces. You've only got 4 ounces to stay under a pound. Something of the National Geographic size, you're going to probably slip, for a single magazine, slip into that over a pound, which is going to put you into the priority mailing categories, whether that's the regional rate or through Pirate Ship with cubic weight, or just standard priority mail. So kind of gives you an idea there. Now a lot of times I'll sell like a year, so this is some old 60s scale model magazines. I haven't listed them yet, but It's 12 issues. They're individually fairly thin, but that's going to put me in that three, with packing material, I'll be in that 3 to 4 pound range. So that's going to be this would be in my experience, this is going to be a great one for a regional rate A box, the one I just showed. So that's invariably that's where I'll get the best rate for that one. And then here's some vintage motorsports magazines I picked up not too long ago. Haven't listed them yet either, but look, there's 12 of them. They're 7 pounds with a box that's still gonna be in that 7 to 8 pound. And these don't look that thick, but they're like deluxe. I guess the ink, the paper, it's really heavy stuff. So you're in that 7 to 8 pound range. I think that if they would fit, that would still be a regional rate A, but this might be where the cubic shipping, if you get the box cut down, the cubic shipping might really pay off here. But I just wanted to show you that to give you an idea of what magazines weigh and to think about, and why it's so important to look at your shipping before you do your listing, because you can really get eat up on shipping, especially if it has to go priority and goes into one of these like zone 4, zone 5s for you. If you're shipping from East Coast to West Coast and getting a large zone, you can have priority shipping cost $11, $12, $13, straight up with no discounts or pirate ship or regional rates. So that's why I look at the things I just talked about to try to save you some cost. Okay. All right. So that's it. I hope that you found that informative. The biggest tip is to look at what you got before you list it, because you might think it's going to be one price, and somebody in California buys it and it's going to be twice what you think. So consider shipping before you even list. Take that into account. Remember your first class weight limits around 1 pound. Remember your regional rate boxes. Order those from the post office. The shirt boxes are great. And use things like pirate ship and compare them to the discounts you get on eBay. Those will make your profits and on your magazine shipping. Make sure you don't get hosed. Make sure you're charging the right amount, and that you don't get stuck. Maximize those profits to sell some really cool magazines. So anyway, hey, I hope all that was useful for you. It's just stuff that I consider now when I do it, because I have gotten burned. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon.